Imagine selling $1 million in face masks in 10 days. When the pandemic hit, Lloyd Armbrust decided he was going to open up a mask business in America and became one of the fastest growing Shopify stores out there.
We're going to make probably $20,000 or $30,000 just from this one tax. Okay, so there you go. You can see right away. This is my $1.6 million mistake.
18 months later, COVID has slowed down, and somehow Lloyd is still selling almost $1 million a month of masks.
I thought this business was going away 6 months ago.
Today, we're going to find out how. How did you get the idea to even think about making masks?
To be honest, what really spurned me was the fact that, like, Sam Altman, was from Y Combinator. He was running Y Combinator. I'd known him from back then. He sent his email out to all these people, and he's like, "We can't get masks. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna buy 1 billion masks from China, and we're gonna buy them at 35 cents each." And I was like, so let me get this straight. We can't get masks into the United States, and so your solution is like, let's just figure out how to get them from China and spend $350 million to do so. I was like, surely we can create the ability to make those masks here for cheaper than that. Honestly, I just thought it was a really dumb problem for America to have, for us to not be able to make masks. The CDC was telling people to take a t-shirt and put it, and it had instructions on how to put it around their face. I'm like, we're American, we're like teaching people how to like turn their shirts into masks.
You fundraise, you got money from people?
If you can show an investor, this is what I did with a little, give me a lot, and this is what I'll do. If the math makes sense, any investors will do it all day long. And that's what I did. I created a crappy PowerPoint. I did a voiceover. It was a 7-minute video.
My name is Lloyd Armbrust, and I'd like your help bringing strategic manufacturing back to America.
I sent it to like 20 people, and like 5 of them invested. I actually raised $3.5 million in literally a weekend.
Tell us a story about the first day you actually finally sold.
Oh, yeah.
The first day you sold masks.
Dude, that was crazy. You could not get masks anywhere. And in fact, my assistant was telling me how, she's like, hey, do you know where I can get some masks? And I was like, people can't get masks. Wouldn't it be neat? I was like, very naive. Wouldn't it be neat if people could buy masks from my website? I was like, oh, that'd be neat, that'd be cool. Shopify, I hear that's good. Sign up for Shopify that morning. Sign up, set it up. We did $300,000 that day, right? Limited to 1 order per person. So you could only buy a pack of 50 masks. And the thing is, we were making masks, so I knew that we could like fulfill it. But what I didn't know was how hard it is to do this fulfillment. It ended up taking me probably 50 days of working 18-hour days to figure out how to do the fulfillment aspect of it. But I will tell you that we did $8 million in the first 6 months of the business.
How did you actually do the marketing for this? How did you get a lot of people to know about it? Obviously, I think one thing is there wasn't a lot of options, especially early on. What else did you guys do to get people to know about it?
Tweeting, Instagram. Our Instagram account has 10,000 followers, I think. We did a big investment in YouTube. My thesis was give people a peek behind the curtain, show them what it is.
What made you even think to record it and then and show the recipe? I think that's cool for a lot of businesses to think about.
It came about very authentically. So what happened was people started asking me like, hey Lloyd, I know you have this mask machine. Can you test this mask? Like, I don't want to use your mask. Can I test this other mask? And first I'm like, what the fuck? Like, just use my mask, it's good. But then I'm like, actually, I'm curious. Like, I'm curious how good this mask, and it's just really my own natural curiosity. So I would test a couple masks, and I would test a couple other things. And I was like, I bet other people would be curious about this. If we do a review of every mask, and it's in Google, when you search for that mask name, the first video review that will pop up is ours, because they're like, who's doing reviews on masks? No one. And so that was the thought. It was like a long tail thing for the brand. This is my $1.6 million mistake.
What's it supposed to make?
It creates these rolls of melt blown. Now we have another melt blown machine that we do use.
So you have more than enough already with the other machine?
Right, that's enough to make 1.4 million masks a day.
What do you do with this?
Well, right now it's sitting here. I had to make a decision. This is in April of 2020. We could not get melt blown. We had all the other parts to make the masks. And I told Landon, I was like, this is your job. You gotta figure this out. This is your one job. So he went on LinkedIn and found anybody had anything to do with non-woven, whatever. Found 300 people. Literally contacted every single one of them. I'm not even making this up. The last person reaches out to, and the guy's like, well, I actually do know somebody that has some melt blown. And he's like, just whatever, name your price. Landon flew with our head of finance. They got on a plane during COVID. They were like the only ones on the plane. Flew to Detroit, like rented a truck, met in a parking lot, and they're like, we're here, we've inspected it, it's real melt blown. I fucking wire the money in a parking lot, it's like a drug deal. They load up the like a Ryder truck and they drive it back here and we can make masks. We were able to get up to making about 1 million masks a day. And the COVID response team comes in, reporting daily meetings with the governor, and is like, this is awesome. I love what you're doing. And I had all this space at the other factory, and they're like, can you expand? And I was like, yeah, I did the math, I can do about 1 million masks a day if we expand X, Y, and Z. And they were like, do it, we'll support you. And they did give me one contract, and we supplied all the masks for the Texas teachers when they first had school.
What's the comparison of how cheap it's to make in China versus make it here, like per mask?
In China, they're selling them delivered to the United States for about $0.015. Now, part of the reason why they can do that is because the Chinese government is subsidizing a lot of this stuff.
Wow.
Right? Like they built the factories for free for them. I had to pay for this, so like that factors into my cost, right? They get like free rent, they get like free electricity, they get free labor in some cases. And so these things like bring their costs way down.
All right, so somehow we've been able to convince the Armbrust USA mask makers to do a crazy sale on their black mask, which they have never done before. So we're actually gonna do the campaign live and message, 40,000 people with an instant sale for black masks just to see what happens in marketing and magic. Let's check it out.
So we're gonna show you how amazing our text audience is.
Okay.
We're gonna text 30,000 people right now. Are you gonna sign up?
I'm gonna sign up.
Okay, good. All right, so what we're gonna do to show you how awesome the audience is we're gonna take a picture of Noah. We're gonna do a coupon code
Oh, really?
with Noah.
Oh, sweet.
So we're gonna take a picture of you, and we're gonna text a photo of Noah to 30,000 people. You gotta be happy though. There we go.
Oh, yeah, dude, that's cool. The text came through.
Okay, so there you go. You can
All
see
right, so
right
people-
away that the visitors on site are just jumping up, and then look at the carts, the active carts.
There
They're
it
going
is.
up. We're gonna make probably $20,000 or $30,000 just from this one text.
Masks.
Yeah.
I think a lot of marketers and businesses probably, I don't know, some are using it on e-commerce. I don't know how extensively.
So so we had probably 100,000 emails before we even thought about adding text. And once we added the text, it was like now we have 30,000 text messages. It converts probably 3 or 4 times more, and it makes sense. Like I interact with a text message way more than an email.
Do you think, man, COVID's gonna last forever, or do you think, hey, maybe this will eventually shift?
I only can focus on one thing at a time, and I go all in. And so my thought is like, Lloyd, if a year from now, you go all into masks, and you look back on this, and you broke even, how will you feel? I will feel good because I will have provided a service that was needed. I will have provided jobs during a time where I know people aren't going to be able to get jobs because I knew everything was being shut down. I will have learned how to manufacture something real.
If you like this video, make sure to check out this video where I break down 5 post-pandemic business ideas you can start in 2022 and beyond. And make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Uncle Noah loves you, and I'll see you out there. Pew, pew.